Should be good now. I should do that whole thing where I count down. Nobody's going to see it, but I should do that whole thing where I count down, do 3, 2, and then a silent 1 and point.
Yes.
Well,
I just watched Wayne's World the other day. That was my palate cleanser
Yeah,
for episode 3.
Oh,
I can't
man.
see you.
I know. Nobody can.
Oh.
It's okay. Here all by myself. Up in the corner of my purple room.
Whistling in the dark.
Yep.
All right, we ready to start recording here?
I thought I just opened that. What?
Or did
man.
you?
It's gonna be a long episode.
Well, probably not as long as last week's, since it's only been 1 week.
Yeah.
No, do not recover. Are you sure you can't be? Yes. All right.
Hello to everyone in the chat.
Hey.
Who all we got?
I think just one other person, then Big Thero. Big Throw.
Pick throw.
B-I-G Throw. Throw.
All right. So
Yan.
so this week, I was skimming through Netflix and really was bored on what I was gonna watch. I ended up settling on the WWE's top 100 finishing moves.
Oh, Christ.
Ooh.
I don't think I've had that much fun watching anything in a long time. Because it just chords of my childhood just sporadically through this part.
That's awesome.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun to watch. I forgot some of those wrestlers too. Like fucking opens up with Big Van Vader. I was like, oh my god, I remember Vader.
Amazing. Big T Hero. Thank you for explaining your screen name, because I would not have guessed that. Short for Big Total Hero. Getting a little BTH up in here.
Oop, dropped my pen.
Big Dan chords.
All right, you guys ready to start recording here?
Yep.
Yes.
Do we all have everything open?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, start recording in 3, 2, 1, record. Pants. Yeah.
Yep.
Coming out
There
here.
it is. Look at that waveform go.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, yesterday I didn't eat anything for like 26 hours.
Well, that's probably not good.
Yeah,
don't know,
that's
like, I
definitely
just-
not good.
I kind of got sucked into what I was playing, and next thing I know, it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, shit.
And you're like, where am I?
What year is it?
It's like, shit. Like, when the hell's Meg get here? I need to eat.
All right.
It's like, no, I'm hungry.
Go away. I'm hungry.
Stop it. You're crabby.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about before we start?
No.
No.
Yeah, I
I
think we're
don't want to
good.
record.
Oh,
Yes.
you really need to play some DOA.
I really do. But
Because it's really, the more I've been playing it, it's, dude. All right, just because before we're recording, right?
yes.
Fuck, it's awesome.
See, the big problem I'm having right now is we moved our house around, and
You don't know where it is.
no, as soon as we did that, the wireless access point that I have is total garbage now. I don't understand what happened. So
Feng Shui, probably.
probably some wireless feng shui. So I've got I bought a WRT54GL, and I'm gonna bridge that thing, install DDWRT on it, and bridge it.
Hey, you have to bridge in 700 square feet. That ain't good.
Yeah, how fun is that, huh?
What?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
I
It's a
know,
good
because I bought that wireless access point, or not. Well, it's like it's that Asus. It's like looks like a cone.
Right.
I can't get that fucking thing to work. I spent $100 on it. I'm like literally this close to just saying, yeah, you want to fuck with me? Just smash it.
Yeah.
Just want to smash
Make
it,
yourself feel better.
and then I'll feel really pissed because I went and just bought this thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck it. Let's go.
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Over there's Knobs.
What's up?
And next to him is Hannah.
What's going on?
I don't have any announcements this week, so let's get started with what you've been playing, noobs.
Alrighty. Hey,
Nerves.
guess what? We didn't have a holiday this Monday. And guess what we
Hooray.
played? We played Left 4 Dead 2.
Yay.
Woo!
But it was only 4 of us. I believe it was Ian, Deviant Prinny, and Nintendork, and myself. So we decided to brave the masses.
Play some randos.
Yeah, play some randoms. We had one rage quit.
Great.
And then we
nice.
had not us. We didn't rage quit.
Oh,
And
no,
then,
I know.
and then that was then we had one that was detailed out in the thread in the forums. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
But apparently our records go back years. Scott's been keeping records for years
Really?
on our scores and who was on whose. I had no idea. I had no idea.
I gotta give
Don't forget
kudos
my-
to Nintendork then.
Yeah, I'd
But
love to
yeah,
get my hands
so-
on that data and graph it out or something.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to work on presenting on trying to get
Cool,
something
cool.
like that, like a scoreboard with kind of a narrative. But Rosenthal just kind of took it on himself to like put this little blurb up there about what happened, because we were getting our asses handed to us at the
Yeah.
start of this match. Until Scott and I took down a tank, just the two of us, because the other guys had kind of run off on us. And we were stuck at a point where, like, either we put this thing down or we're eating these points. And then 3 of us made it to the finish after we put down the tank.
Wow.
Nice.
So, and after that point was, we weren't really in the lead yet, but that's where the game changer was. And it was pretty good and intense, and we surgically destroyed them in the grab the gas can scavenge thing at the end of Dead Center.
Oh, yeah.
I just brutalized them.
Awesome.
But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. So that, again, join us every Monday night, 10 p.m. EST. We're always going to play that game. I don't see anything. As long as that 360 is running, I think we're going to be there.
Wow.
As long as Xbox Live is still going.
Yes. As long as we have that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard any rumblings for Left 4 Dead 3, so.
Yet.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, Valve hates trilogies.
Oh, they certainly do.
Badooch.
They can't even finish 3 of an episode.
Yeah.
Well, and the other day I saw
Oh,
apparently previews for a canceled Half-Life 2 Episode 4.
Four, yeah.
Where's 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that looked so good, though.
It
Yeah.
did.
Oh, man.
It sounded like something out of Narnia. I don't know. But it just, I don't know. Whatever it is. Valve, do whatever you want. Obviously, you don't care about us.
Yeah, you have our money either way, whatever.
So let me get for the games I played a little bit of. I played a little bit more Borderlands 2. I did some more, what is it called? Harvesting? I can't think of the word. It's escaping me right now. Raid bossing. Raid boss.
It's
We did-
shooting dudes.
Rating?
Whatever. The big baddies. Raiding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we a couple group of us got together. We started taking down Terramorphous, which is a lot more challenging now than it used to be, but still doable. I know Seven Hender and myself, we've been able to knock them down, just the 2 of us, a couple times. So
Nice.
I really got to get back into that game.
it's not too bad. But yeah, because apparently that's something online where they're giving away special shotguns. I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we killed Pyro Pete about half dozen times, and we're just, I'm done. I can't think this anymore. I think it was a Jive and a couple of his buddies. We tried harvesting for farming. That's the word I was looking for. Farming.
There you go.
There you go.
Got
There
For
it
Farm
is.
Jenkins, trying and showing them the spot where I have found them. So
Yeah.
I think I
Just
like
try-
harvesting more.
harvesting. Harvesting means you're actually getting something out of it.
That's
Farming
true. That's true.
is the toil you have to go to get to harvest.
There you go.
But yeah, I played some plans. Then I played some more DOA 5 with 700. I think that was yesterday afternoon. We played, I don't know, about half dozen. Well, with Latro too. So there's 3 of us that kind of get together. So it's
Nice.
Nice.
man, that netcode is so good because we're going from US to UK to Germany, and we're not getting any lag.
Oh, yeah.
It's unreal. and we don't have any more than 2 bars of connection between any of us. But it's good. It's a good time.
I gotta get on there and really start doing that, man.
And some of the matches have been so like, like that tension bar goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of times where he had I don't think I landed a hit and ended up wiping him out.
Jeez.
Like I one level this ice level keeps going down. I where's I see penguins and we're on the ocean, but another level below it.
Weird.
And it just keeps going and going and going.
It's like that one level from DOA 3, that one with the waterfalls that I leaped off of the side of one time.
Yeah. Great moments like that.
Yeah.
Like Jan Lee, I don't know how many times I've ninja kicked off the side of stuff.
Yeah.
He deserves it because there's an unblockable attack. You can only dodge it. You can only hope to contain it. But yeah, so that's a good time. Still piling through that. It's just fun, especially with more people. And seven and I are so evenly matched. It's infuriating. Every match we fight, 'cause we play 3 rounds of best of 5.
Yeah.
And every round we have 2 wins apiece, and it's down to the last hit.
Oh.
To the point somebody's panicking, trying to counter, and the other person just grabs them. Like, oh my god, I'll kick you in the shins. So there's almost every fight ends up like that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we get some different curses this around. It kind of rotates. Like yesterday was the Brad Wong curse, where Brad Wong literally was in every fight for 15 matches in a row.
Oh man, that's some Guilty Gear stuff at that point.
It gets better. What sucks is when you get in the virtual fighter curse, where it seemed like every time he came up, he kept getting a virtual fighter character. Every time he came around, he was fighting with a virtual fighter character. But it's good. Man, it's buttery smooth. That game plays every bit as good as we remember it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it might be in my favorite one so far.
Really?
I think this might have capped 3. I mean, I love 3 so much.
Yeah.
And this one just seems to be it's dead or alive, and there's nothing to complain about.
And it doesn't need to be anything more. It's just good.
Yeah, that's it. It is just good. Let me see. All right, well, I gotta start checking this stuff out because I'm starting to get confused.
Yeah.
All right, so I got that one, that one. I tried playing some more Ninja Gaiden 3.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm at a glitch.
Oh, good.
Oh no.
I fight my evil twin, and I kill him, and I can't go anywhere.
Great.
Reloaded this game 7 times. And I got to battle 15 minutes to get back to this point. Every door just all right, use your ninja vision. Where am I supposed to go? Where's my idiot line? Oh, it's that door over there. That won't open.
Super.
So I think I'm done.
Best game ever.
I think I am I've hit to that point where I'm done. I'm done with it.
Yeah,
so
I would be too.
Crossing that off. The other one I played a little bit of, I picked up Anarchy Reigns.
Ooh.
Yeah, that game is totally God Hand.
No.
I bought it and I have unwrapped it, and that's as far as I've gotten.
It's God Hand in the best way possible.
Multiplayer God Hand.
Boy.
I didn't play any multiplayer yet.
It looks really good.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, multiplayer is kind of the core of the game. The single player is to unlock more characters for multiplayer, and apparently... So I'm kind of upset about the GameStop stuff, and I sort of wish I had bought it there because there are 2 additional modes that came with GameStop, and one of them is everybody is hanging off their own individual helicopter and trying to knock each other off of helicopters.
Sounds
awesome.
I'd see Best Buy didn't have it.
Okay.
And so surprisingly, my saving place was GameStop, but I didn't pre-order it there, so I don't know if I got anything extra.
Yeah, probably not.
So I should have just lied, but I can't do that.
Yeah, but apparently there are a ton of really cool multiplayer modes, and there's one I saw in Giant Bomb's Thursday Night Throwdown last week, where it was basically like murder soccer, and it looked awesome.
But it's a lot like, I don't know if you remember, I think you played God Hand a little bit, didn't you?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Or it was just me?
Yeah, it was just you, yeah.
It was just me? But no, it doesn't have like the crazy over the top, punching guys off the planet.
Right, no
But
poison chihuahua racing.
no, God, I miss that. I miss that a lot. I miss wasting all my time playing video blackjack.
Yeah.
But no, it's you're just running around this world and there's little points of missions and just enemies just keep spawning like relentlessly.
It's like an old school beat 'em up.
Oh, it is, and I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And it is the system is really rewarding, and I can't wait to play more of it.
Yeah.
But before I got too far into that game, I decided to play a game that I had started. I just played through the prologue and never really got back into it. And I sat down yesterday morning, like, what do I want to play? Well, I have this game sitting here. I finished Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh,
Whoa.
That game is awesome.
really? It finally won you over?
Oh yeah. Oh totally. Because the game is fun. There's
Yeah.
nothing about that game isn't fun. I mean, the voice acting, whatever it is. I don't. At that point, like I get the character. I know how bubbly and quirky she's supposed to be as a zombie killer in a little high school cheerleading outfit with a chainsaw. But the game is really fun and rewarding to play, and it's even more fun with a lot of the musical selections. And I'm sorry, when Joan Jett starts playing, when you trigger your like invincible mode, is like the greatest thing ever because it's
That's
just
pretty wonderful.
It's absolutely mayhem.
Yeah.
And every time you open a store, it starts playing lollipop, lollipop, ooh la la lollipop, lollipop. Ba-doom doom. It's so awesome.
Yeah. It's enough. It's on the nose enough to be really funny, but not where you're like, oh god.
But all right, so I've come to this conclusion that I will love a game if there's a character in it that's auto-tuned. I can't get around it. Like in Saints Row the Third.
That was one of the
Probably
best characters ever. That's
Probably
why.
one of my favorite characters. This one has the same dude, except he's like a Rastafarian funk master
Amazing.
in a UFO.
Of course.
Nice.
Why not?
And you fight through him this giant arcade level.
Perfect.
There's they do like this kind of take on Pac-Man with these giant Pac-Man, and then your little boyfriend head thing says, "Yeah, that thing would be a lot more threatening if it didn't have a fez on its head." I'm like, that's the best line I've ever heard.
Oh man.
And then the only mission that was really then it had like the elevator where you had to go through like one door to go up to this one and knock this
Yeah.
thing down, and then go up here and take the next elevator up, like an old school like I don't
Elevator
even know what the
action.
game was called. Elevator game.
Yeah.
Whatever it
Yeah.
was. And then they had like the window washer game. I remember you know this one from Chuck E. Cheese.
I love
Where
that
you're scaling up the skyscraper.
one. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's totally in here.
Amazing.
Nice.
So by the end, was the battle system really good? Because I remember when you
Oh,
were
yeah.
talking about the prologue, I think you were a little bit disappointed that it hadn't really fleshed itself out early enough.
You have to it's a barrier that you have to unlock everything to really combat well.
Oh, okay. Are you unlocking? Is it like Devil May Cry where you're unlocking? You're getting stuff to spend points to unlock stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And depending on how well you fight is how much stuff you have to spend.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like I just hoarded all my platinum coins, and you get that by killing 3 to 4 to 5 enemies at once, where it turns like all like galaxy background and just heads are flying off and really slow. And it's the end of that game is just awesome.
How
Like,
long?
what-
How long was it?
I'm gonna say probably your first playthrough is probably 6-7 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad at
If
all.
that. If that. I can't say if that because I didn't replay the prologue.
Right.
I just jumped right back into it.
Can you carry over your stuff between playthroughs?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Nice.
So you get to the point where outside of a few special attacks that are from that point on that you have to use them
Right.
because they'll be so overpowering if you didn't have that
Right.
earlier on. But it's borderline hilarious. The only one character I really didn't like, it was her younger sister, just like maniacally laughs the whole time and just kind of
Oh.
like that was the only misstep in the game. But other than that, I had a riot.
I'm gonna have to pick this up. It sounds like it's pretty much up all of our alleys.
I
Sounds
really
sweet.
think you'll fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And it took probably an hour playing it again. I was like, all right, I'm starting to get this.
Yeah.
And you hit that stride probably in that next 45 minutes where you're like, I kind of love this thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you're like, I can't, this is amazing.
Yeah, once
I
it
had
clicks
so
with you,
much
it's
fun.
kind of there.
The art style works. The loading screens are all funny. Putting your decapitated boyfriend's head on other zombies
Yeah.
and having like quick time events, and he just sitting there like just like zombie dancing around.
That's amazing.
Like he's like
I really need this game.
crossword. Like his head stays forward, his body spins back and forth a few times.
Oh,
It's all like really quick, and you, like because the problems are coming up so fast, you kind of just want to sit and watch it happen. But you just
yeah.
can't.
I need this game in my life.
But it's
I think.
really funny because like one time like he just sit there like he's just stopped before he got to where he's supposed to go. And he was like, "Who?" And just pointing at the sky and like, "But dude, just keep going." Oh my god, all right, that's awesome. I can't.
Oh,
I
man.
had so much fun playing with this game, and I kind of want to sit down and unlock everything in it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it seems like it'd be one of those good games where you like, all right, I got a block of time. I can probably pound through this game in 4 to 5 hours if I really wanted to push it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably has the one antagonist that just absolutely deserves to die, like
really?
the best guy that you just hate.
Yeah, sort of
just-
like Handsome Jack.
Oh yeah, but this one is so annoying. You're like, man, I cannot wait to kill him.
Oh, nice.
And you don't even. Oh, I can't spoil it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's totally awesome, and it takes like kind of your twist you see coming, but it just the end boss, the Killabilly, is probably one of my favorite boss battles.
That's an amazing name.
Oh, wait till you see him.
Oh man,
Sounds
I
like
really.
something out of Redneck Rampage.
Oh, it's so awesome to the point where you're like, of course this is a Suda 51 game.
Yeah, yeah. It's at that point where you're like, oh right, Suda 51.
The whole game just oozes them, and this like, and I'm sitting there thinking like, this is the like every bit like as I love Asura's Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
These are the games that I love video games for because they're just crazy.
Yeah, these very Japanese games.
Like these, like I mean, it's like who thinks of this stuff? Like it's got every bit of those little quirks that Shadow of the Damned had,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just fun. You can't get around it. The game is just a blast to play, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah.
It really is. It's sparkly. Like the guy's even asking, like, so how do you get the rainbows and stars you know what? I don't care.
Who knows? It just looks good.
And that's the conversation that's happening in the game.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's good. It's real good. But I finished that one. I can't wait to play more of it. And lastly, I finished The Walking Dead. And
That makes two of us.
and I am so happy I finished this and got to play Lollipop Chainsaw because I was really bummed out.
Yeah, that's the perfect
Yeah.
sort of clean for it.
But yeah, that game was heavy in every aspect. And I really liked that once you finished it, it got those little pictures of like kind of the things that happened through your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I totally took a picture of it on my phone.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So I understand why that game was so high in everybody's list, and that is a gem I was not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I went into that thinking like, well, how good could it be? Yeah, it's that good.
That was pretty much my attitude. I'm like, yeah, it's winning all these awards, but how could? And then I'm finished with it. I'm like, it was really good.
Yeah.
That had some turns in it that just kind of really, really caught me by surprise. I was really happy, like how my Kenny turned out,
Right.
and like through my decisions and what happened through that playthrough. That it was very good because at that point I had not counted on him to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that little thing with the ladder and the clock tower, I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
wow, I'm screwed.
I really liked when that game had you control the character walking or moving very slowly through something that you knew was going to go wrong. And you really didn't want to keep walking because you knew something was going to happen. And you're just like, I got to keep going.
Well,
Yeah.
there's one or two spots where they had you do that, and everything was fine.
Yeah,
yeah.
which
And
makes
those
it
are the ones
even
that really
worse.
throw you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like that one part where you're covered in the stuff and you're walking through the things, and I was like, dude, this is gonna go wrong somewhere.
Yeah, and at
Yeah.
the end I was like, oh, okay.
Like, oh, so we just made it there? Oh.
Yeah, that was fine. Okay. All
It's
right.
So yeah, I have nothing to complain about with that game. That game, very few games hit on every cylinder, and that one just, whew,
Yep.
Yeah.
whew. It was good. It was real good.
Games that's very difficult to talk about without throwing potential spoilers out there.
Yeah.
It's
Or without really going down the rabbit hole of like, well, I can't believe your character did that, or like your version of Ben or whatever did that. You know, how'd you get there? And then 3 hours later, we're still talking about Walking Dead.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that was pretty much it. I think that covers everything.
All right, Hannah, what you got?
Well, I've got to tail off at knobs here. I also finished The Walking Dead, but I took it from start to finish in a little under a week, and that was with a break after episode 3 to watch Wayne's World and make myself happy again.
Yeah, you after episode 3, you sort of need a little bit of a breather.
I think I took the same break because I think I played it in 3 sittings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't see how you could really. I see how you could separate 4 and 5, but to me, like, you really should play those back to back.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause they sort of tie into a single episode in my mind.
Well, my girlfriend was sitting there as I was finishing episode 4. That's really the only episode she watched.
Oh,
And at
that's
the
brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty rough because I was very angry at a lot of characters, and she's like, "Why? What did they do?" And I was like, "I don't even know how to begin to explain the
Yes.
things that have happened in this game and how horrible
She
people
looks at
are."
you, she's like, dude, what are you, a masochist?
Yeah, and I'm like, no.
I have reasons.
Yeah, these
Why are you putting yourself through this turmoil?
Yeah,
It's a game.
these people had it coming.
Yeah, a lot of them did.
But at the end of episode 4, I'm like, oh man, you get to see how great the previews are for the next episodes, and that way when I play the next one tomorrow, you'll get a better idea. And it was just like The Walking Dead episode 5, No Time Left, and I was just like, no, I want to play it. Oh, so
Well,
good.
the way episode 5 is set up and the way your choices can potentially affect it, I understand why they didn't do a preview of
Oh
it.
yeah,
It's very difficult too.
yeah, it'd be way too hard and probably a little too spoilery. And if you were playing the game as it was going, that probably would have been the biggest preview for episode 5.
Yeah.
Where it's like, things are so bad, we can't even show you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was one. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I cried after episode 3, and just, man, that was absolutely rough. And episode 4 and 5 were no picnics either.
I cried at the end. I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
episode
without
3
question.
for me, but yeah, at the end, I was just sitting alone in this house, just like.
I'm not gonna say that I cried, but I was emotionally compromised.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I had a really great time with that game. I kind of wish it was. I can't wait for season 2. Is what it comes down to. I heard about Walking Dead when it was still a comic, and I still had all my comic friends going, "Dude, you have to read this. Dude, you have to read this." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it." And then suddenly, there's a TV show and a game of the year. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
season
yeah.
2 is gonna be sweet.
Season 2's coming this year too.
Yeah, which is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and they're
Oh,
coming out with that comic book game they're doing. I don't even remember which comic. Ugh. It's not Exiles. I'll look it up while we're talking.
Okay.
Oh, what are you talking about? Why is the Last Man?
No, they're not making a game on that. It's something else. I'll look it up.
Cool. Well, moving on from that, because honestly, if I talk about it anymore, I'm going to spoil it for everybody.
Yeah.
I actually jumped back into an old indie game that came out winter of 2010, Epic Dungeon. It was part of the, I don't know if you guys remember the Indie Games Uprising, winter 2010, Xbox Live Indie Games. They were having a bunch of problems with, people releasing, like, clones of other games and, like, massage simulators.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They released this big pack of like indie games to kind of counter that, and one of those was Epic Dungeon, and it's this roguelike dungeon crawler where you just have to try and get as deep into the dungeon as you possibly can. So I'm sitting there playing it, and you walk forward. You don't even have an attack button. You have special moves, but if you walk forward, you're attacking the whole time. So if you run into an enemy, you just hit it.
Yeah.
And you know, kind of have this fog of war. You unveil the map, and you know, there's shops every couple of levels, and there's all sorts of stuff. It's a fun little game. You know, I think it was 80 points. It was $1. So I
You
mean,
can't go wrong there.
I've had hours of fun with it. It's one of those like I think this week after playing The Walking Dead, I went to just like the most baseline simple games I could.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't really handle anything else.
Yeah. I'm gonna play Super Mario Brothers 1.
Yes.
Kind of in that vein.
Yeah.
But Epic Dungeon, apparently they released a newer version of it not too long ago, and they called it Cursed Loot. And it's basically just a title update, but since you can't do title updates to Xbox indie games, they just released a whole new game. And it's awesome. They put a ton of new stuff into it. They kind of refined a lot of the little things. They doubled the amount of skills you have. If you have just 80 points floating around on your Xbox Live account, pick it up. It's tons of fun. You know, it kind of reminds me of Gauntlet.
Okay.
You just have like these massive swarms of enemies coming at you. They're dropping gold and potions and armor, and you just pick it up and you just you try and get as deep into the dungeon as you can. It's I had way more fun with it than I remembered.
Yeah. Before we move on, thank you to Musim in the chat for reminding me that it is DC and Vertigo Comics Fables that they're making a comic on.
Fables game?
Yes.
Yep. It's coming out, I think, this year as well.
That's going to be interesting.
So hopefully it's not another Jurassic Park.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on from indie game to indie game, I picked up a game on Android called Gyro, and this one it's a little weird to explain. It's a puzzle game, and the way it starts out is in the middle of the screen you have just a circle that's been cordoned off into 3 quadrants, and they're 3 different colors. And in from the sides of the screen, you have 3 different colored dots that fly at the circle in the middle. And the whole point is to just spin that circle around so that you catch the colored dots on the correct color. So you have to match blue to blue, yellow to yellow, red to red.
Oh, okay.
And it sounds really simple. And then they start throwing weird patterns at you. So they'll throw 2 red ones that are coming in just at the right angle, so you have to catch one on each edge of the red section.
Oh,
then they'll repeat it with blue and then yellow. So you have to spin this thing around, and it gets faster and faster as you go.
Wow.
I ended up playing. I think I downloaded it. I think it was maybe Saturday night or Friday night. And Friday night, I get home, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. Lay down, play a couple, rounds. I've played 50 time trials, before and time trials probably a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably put a lot more time into this game than I think I have.
Yeah.
And it's really a lot of fun, and it's free for the basic version on the Play Store on Android, and I think it's 99 cents to unlock time trial. Totally worth it. And I've just been playing the crap out of it as of late. So, and the only other game I've been playing this week is The Secret World, and I popped that in a little while, today, and it's it's the same old quest and it's the same old combat. It's really hard for me to say whether or not I truly like this game or I like the idea of this game at this point, because I really want to get into the story, but as the framework for the story is an MMO, it's hard to kind of log in and then read through the story stuff without stuff happening around me to distract me or getting attacked by a mob while I'm trying to, read, what's the relevance of this quest in the whole lore of the world.
Right.
And it's this really odd pairing of story mixed with multiplayer, and it just, I really like the game as its base idea, but I don't know how much longer I can continue playing it as though it were a multiplayer game. I think they could have done a lot more with this if they had done a single player campaign something with it. I feel like they should have made Kingdoms of Amalur an MMO straight off, and this should have been a single player game straight off, instead of how KOA was supposed to be single player game to establish the world and then MMO to flesh it out more. The Secret, I think, could have seen some really huge success with the ideas and the lore and the writing as a single player game.
Yeah.
And it kind of saddens me that it's kind of trapped in this framework that doesn't really work well for storytelling.
Yeah.
Um,
That is a
and
bummer.
I mean, I think part of it's also my computer kind of struggles to handle it at some points, so loading times are just borderline unbearable. Uh, but I mean, I'm still having fun with it, so I don't think I'm done with it yet. I think I'm gonna try and get out of the area I'm in, and then see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
So, but that's all
Cool.
I've.
I played a little bit more Persona 4 Golden this week, but I think I'm kind of done with that. I'm about halfway through my second playthrough, and I need to play other Vita games. I have a metric ton of them on my Vita, and I really need, like, I was looking at somebody had posted some screenshots. There was a thread on NeoGAF about, what games had unique settings. And somebody posted a whole bunch of screenshots from Gravity Rush, and I was like, okay, I need to play that right now. That looks awesome. So I think I need to play that next and not keep playing Persona 4 Golden again.
The game you played, I don't know how many times at this point.
Yeah. I think 3 times is enough at this point. But I did now that I was done with XCOM and The Walking Dead, I did sit down and start playing Sleeping Dogs. There was a cold that ripped through our office the other day, so I was out sick one day, and I figured, an open world game is probably a pretty good thing to play while I'm laying on the couch not feeling well. Sleeping Dogs is awesome. It is a shame that I'm now playing 2012's greatest games in 2013.
We're kind of notorious for this, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit. But what's great about Sleeping Dogs is it really takes a lot of lessons from other open world games and makes an open world game that's not bad. And I think a large part to play in that is it focuses very heavily on storytelling at the beginning. And it tells a really interesting story. It's talking about warring triad groups in Hong Kong, and you're an undercover cop trying to infiltrate this family here. And it's really well voice acted, really well written, though there's not a ton of writing, but what is there is punchy enough. And one of my favorite things about the game is probably for the first 6 to 7 hours, you don't get a gun at all.
Ooh.
And it is all hand-to-hand combat. And I think video games owe Arkham Asylum a lot more than we give credit for, because this is pretty much Arkham Asylum's hand-to-hand fighting engine in an open world game, and it works perfectly. And
that's awesome.
What's great is there's a mission where you get a gun. Like, it's a really big thing that you get a gun, and there's even a whole tutorial on how you can shoot. And there's even like a John Woo sort of let's dive over a table and slow motion stuff that you really don't use that much, but it's great to see a game that has a really good, really solid, and easy-to-use cover system, really great hand-to-hand stuff. The driving is great, the shooting is great, and one of my favorite things is there's like 4 different types of collectibles in the world, and one of my favorite things is you'll meet ladies throughout the game that are sort of interested in your character and would maybe like to take you out on a date. And if you do that, then at the end of the date, after you do stuff like, oh, let's go sing karaoke, and I will play this crazy karaoke minigame, and I will play, I don't even remember what song it was. Oh, Reelin' in the Years. And I'll play that, and at the end, if you take these ladies out on a date, after you're done with that, on the map, it'll show these collectibles. So you don't have to go buy anything. You don't have to microtransaction anything. You don't have to go hunting down. There's like 200 lockboxes all across this area. You just take somebody on a date, and boom, they're all on your map. And
Nice.
they know that the fun part is, something is there, but how the hell do you even get to it? How do you get there, and then how do you clear out all the enemies to open it? And it's just a really solid, really well made open world game that reminds me of the promise that the previous 2 games had. What were the other
True Crime,
the
L.A.
true
Streets of, and then True Crime New York.
yeah
I
those
True Crime to L.A. It sounds a lot what you're saying. It's a lot like the L.A. version, but
mhm.
probably the best handcuffing animation I've ever seen in any game. I don't think it'll ever be repeated.
You don't get to handcuff anybody in this game, but you do get to break a lot of limbs, and it looks really
Nice.
rough.
Because the thing in True Crime, Streets of L.A. is when you get a dude down, you pin him down, and you just like grab your handcuffs, like wham, boom,
Yeah.
dude's cuffed.
Yeah. There's those both of those games were okay, but had a lot of promise, and I feel like this team finally really either had the time or had the money or had the expertise to finally see that promise through, and they built a really great world. They built a really great Hong Kong, and what's especially coming off of Assassin's Creed 3, it feels big, but it's never too big. It's never too big to I never feel like I don't want to get from one end to the other. I want to hop in my fastest car and hit the freeway and just start ducking and diving out of traffic, and it's just really fun to play, and I don't think we have a lot of open world games that are like that typically. It always has
I think the
something wrong
last
with
one
that.
was what Saints Row the Third. Like that city was big, but it never felt overbearing.
Yeah, and it's like Saints Row the Third, it has a really great city, but it's also trying to tell a really good and really serious story. Obviously Saints Row the Third wasn't, which is one of the reasons we love that game. But just to see an open world game get it right, where it's not like, well, the game is really great, but the driving kind of sucks, or it's fun, but the story's dumb, or like I don't really want to fight anybody because that sucks. It's just everything really comes together, and I haven't even gotten into the DLC yet. I bought some of the outfit packs because some of them are dumb. I can dress up as Adam Jensen or
Nice.
the dude from Just Cause 2. But I made sure to buy the two add-on DLC things. There's like a zombie nightmare one, which I'm very much looking forward to playing. And there is like a tournament one. It's called the Zodiac Tournament. So I'm really looking forward to getting into both of those. I looked at my time clock today, and I think it's I was at like 12 hours, and I think I'm at about 60% of the way through the game. So thankfully it's not too terribly long. So at this point I can't recommend it enough. As long as it stays as good as it does, it probably would have been in my top 10 last year, like everything I've played this year.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to start the new year off right.
Yeah, and like every year, started with the games I didn't have enough time for the previous year. So
Yeah.
but that's all I'm playing, so let's take a break.
Ooh.
I have to go check on this cat because she was howling her damn head off. I'll be back.
Who? He did say the cat, right?
I think he did. I don't know. It'd be a little odd if it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab a drink of water.
So it just leaves me here to entertain the masses. So I guess I hang out. I can't see what anybody's saying, so. Na 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 na. Do 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 do. What the fuck is this? That is.
All right. Oh, criminy. Oh, I should probably open up show notes here. That would help.
Oh man.
How about all that whatchamacallit stuff at CES, huh?
Yeah.
Some craziness.
I didn't really see anything too crazy except for the dumb 4K TVs.
Yeah. Well, and
I
they're
don't
starting to
Go ahead.
they're starting to throw the marketing terms down because they're like they're finally at consumer level prices.
Yeah.
So now you're hearing like Super HD,
Yeah,
Ultra
like Ultra
HD.
HD. Yeah.
It's like, oh, don't know.
Really dumb. Just call it 4K.
Yeah.
Done with it.
I mean, I
Yeah,
understand.
4K, 8K.
I still hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of that stuff, I mean, they're like, yeah, it's pretty, but it hurts my head to look at it.
Well, and there's very little content out now that supports 4K.
Yeah.
Like if you look at us as gamers, consoles are having trouble putting out 720p. Nevertheless, 4000p.
Well, but at the same time, you also have a lot of PC games that are starting to throw in support for 4K as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, PC always leads the charge when it comes to that stuff because I think PC had 1080p before the Xbox 360 was even a thing. So
before the Xbox was a thing.
Yeah, it's
probably.
Forever,
Like once we started getting the LCD monitors, like the resolution went bananas.
And some CRTs, if you had like a 30-inch CRT because you were made of money.
I had this big 20, I think it was 23-inch CRT from when I went to college. I went for graphic design, so they were giving away all their big old, CRT perfectly tuned monitors. This thing was 60, 70 pounds easy.
Oh yeah.
But it was amazing because you could squeeze these insane resolutions out of it.
Yeah, it was like that Sony. I had my first Sony Vaio product was their 17-inch monitor, which was stellar.
That thing had a huge resolution too. Wasn't it like 1600 something?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, for a I think I had that in college.
Yeah, it was like 2000, 2001, something like that. It was monstrous.
Oh yeah, it had that little base, and then had the things on the side. But
that was a nice monitor.
That thing was just weighed a ton, but god damn, was that fucking pretty.
Yeah,
man, those were the days of 800 by 600 still too.
Oh yeah,
I mean it was like double the resolution of anything else. It was incredible.
Yeah. It's like one of those things you have no business having in a dorm room.
Yeah, exactly. Look at my 50-inch TV.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? All right, are you guys ready?
I still remember a couple. I forgot whose room was it that had the really really old projection screen
TV.
It
had one of those like.
It had the cabinet that opened up and it had like that curved screen that went up like this, and it had this drawer that pulled out, and that was the projection.
Yeah.
It
was
like I had never seen anything like that.
It was stupid. It was like 65 inches. Like it took up their entire front room of their dorm. God, that was
still awesome. Don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. Everybody go over there and watch football.
Yep,
it was amazing. All right, let's get this cracking while the cat's asleep.
Nice.
Ass cat.
Alrighty. All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases, downloadable games. Demon's Souls for the PlayStation 3 is $20. That's not a bad pickup.
It's pretty good.
Lord of the Rings, War in the North for PlayStation 3. That's $20 as well. Wow.
And Barks are free.
All right.
Yes, they are.
Dance Magic for PlayStation Network, $10.
Magic.
It's magic.
Your fingers.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
Fuck. I keep thinking of Bring It On now. Damn it.
Just watched it the other day.
That's a good movie.
Oh, man.
I think I broke knobs.
Hooray. Welcome to the show.
Man. Earth Defense Force 2017 portable for PlayStation Vita. That's 40 bones.
That's too much money. I would like to say Axis, I think Axis brought this game over. Guys, that's too much money. That came out way too many years ago on the 360, and it's the same game every time. But man, when that game's $20, I'm so picking that up.
Yeah.
Sega's Vintage Collection, Alex the Kid and Company for PlayStation Network is $10. And another Sega Vintage Collection, Monster World for PlayStation Network is also $10 as well.
The weird thing was those were released individually before, and now they're bundling them, so I think you can save like $5 on each one if you wanted to pick them up. I don't know why they had to delay those bundles. It's confusing.
Probably
who knows?
Weird licensing.
Yeah, with Sega, who really knows?
Don't blame it on Sega. Come on.
Hey, they've been doing really great this past decade.
Yeah, let's say,
King of the Hill.
Give 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, PlayStation Plus this month is Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10 are free.
That's awesome.
Go play them because they're great.
Yeah, they are hard though.
Yeah.
Those games do not mess around.
Nope.
Oh,
If you think you're gonna walk through it like you can walk through Mega Man 2, no,
Nope.
you're getting shut down.
I love that they still built in sprite flicker.
Yes,
yeah.
that makes me happy.
Oh, it's so good.
Hate to be the programmer that had to do that though.
Yeah, I bet that's one
No,
thing
that
that was like,
sucked.
oh, can we make it look like this really old and broken console? No? Okay, let's do that anyway.
Yeah. Let's make it as hard as ourselves as it can.
Yeah.
Because making video games is so easy anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone this one random artifact thing that happens that people just love.
Yeah.
Why not?
Ugh.
U.S. release for the week of January 14th, 2013, Devil May Cry for PlayStation 3 and 360.
Boy, I really hope this is good.
I cannot wait to hear what people say about this thing
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for reactions on this one.
because prior to this game when it got announced, and let alone that, who's doing this, Ninja Theory?
Yeah, which is why I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because of that, because of the one reason why everyone's pissed about it.
Yeah, Capcom's not making it. It's going to be garbage. And I'm like, no, wait, who's not? Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
But everyone seems to forget Devil May Cry 2, and that was made by Capcom, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they sort of forget the back half of 4 also wasn't really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I really like Ninja Theory's approach to games. I don't think Enslaved was very good, but maybe that wasn't entirely their fault. But man, Heavenly Sword was good.
What was the other one they made? That ninja game.
Oh, I thought those were the only two.
No, they made a couple more.
No, they made that.
I know what you're talking about.
They
I can
made that
see the...
QT Ninja Blade.
There it is.
Ninja Blade was Ninja Theory.
No, that was From Software.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. F this game. I don't want to play it. I thought it was From Software, and I love From Software.
No, I think
done.
they've only made those 2 games. At least those are those big ones. I hope it's going to be really good because I sort of like the idea of it's almost like a different director directing a sequel to somebody else's movie. You know, it's sort of like, well, what's going to be their take? It may not be great, and I'm sure I do not have the same affinity for Devil May Cry that a lot of people do. I liked 1 in the first half of 4, and that's about it. But like, I really like what Ninja Theory does, so I really hope it's good.
1 was just that's one of those games you're always going to remember, especially from that era, because it was like nothing you'd seen before.
It was lightning in a bottle for the PS2.
Yeah. And I think they've been trying to recapture that magic. It just hasn't worked.
Oh man, that almost sounds like everything else Capcom's doing.
It certainly does. Wah, wah, wah. Well, that's it for US. UK release for January 11th, 2013 is Devil May Cry. Dun, 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 dun. And Anarchy Reigns for the PS3 and 360.
All right, let's move on to news stories. Some news stories coming out of CES, but really the only interesting one for most gamers is going to be NVIDIA announces Project Shield. Or as somebody on Twitter said, the thing that hackers will use in TV shows in the future. So it's a handheld console system with a 5-inch screen. It's a 720p Retina display and basically a 360 controller smacked onto it. Powered by the Tegra 4 processor. In between the breaks, in between the segment and the break, we were talking about CES's 4K resolutions, and this Project Shield can push 4K resolution to an external screen, I think through HDMI. Runs Android that NVIDIA is insisting is a pure Android, pure uncut white Android without any skins on it. None of that black tar Android.
Yeah, my question is, what version are they going to be running? Are they throwing ICS down on there? Are they going to be throwing Jelly Bean? Or what are we going to see?
Probably going to be something super old.
I hope not.
Eventually can stream games from your home PC equipped with a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 650 or
Oh, there it is.
Yep,
Yep, that's how they're making their money on this.
Yeah. No price announced. Should be available Q2. I think NVIDIA has lost it. What is this thing?
There's no purpose for this thing that I see at all outside of them bogarting the Turga 4 for themselves.
Well,
Honestly,
that's their chip.
See,
I
I'm
know
excited
that.
about it.
Yeah.
I have to say I'm kind of excited about this. I like the idea that it can. One of the things you didn't mention here is it can stream games from your PC onto this thing.
Hmm.
From the GTX. But I mean, it doesn't stream. It's not using your computer as the processor for it. It streams
Right.
the graphical data to the Project Shield, whatever they're going to end up calling this thing,
Yeah.
and it processes it on that machine, which to me is really just a powerhouse way to go. Yeah, the Tegra 4 is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's definitely. It's very much them wanting to say, "Hey, look at how awesome our chip is." But when
Yeah.
you come down to it, if you're looking at something like, oh, the other thing we forgot to mention, I don't know how it didn't make it in the news stories, was the Steam Box,
Yes.
the piston, the XI3 piston, which piston, that I feel like if you start comparing this to the piston, you say, well, one of them is a PC, a really tiny PC that you hook up to your TV, and you hook up a controller to it, and then hey, you're just playing PC games on your TV. And then you start looking at the Project Shield, and it's streaming games over Wi-Fi, which is probably fine, but it's either streaming games over your Wi-Fi or kind of a handheld Android gaming platform, which Android has a lot of games, but no smartphone is built for that. That'd be like Apple coming out with a handheld gaming thing that says, "Why we run all the iOS apps?" And it's like, great, why?
I don't know. I think the thing just looks dumb.
Unfortunately,
I'm just saying. I mean, it looks like like that's one thing. It's almost like a Game and Watch.
I just think that I hope
you
the
flip it up and
designs-
hide behind it.
Yeah, I hope the design's not final because I think it, and I haven't heard them say one way or another, but it looks dumb. It looks like something that would be in, an NCIS where it's like, oh, look at this hacker using this thing. It's got a tiny little flip up screen. Oh yeah,
It looks like it has every hint of the N gauge. Like it just all the media and everything going around this. That's what it feels like it's going to be.
God, I certainly hope not, because I think this has enough cool factor to it to where if they sell it at a low enough price point, at the very least you'll have the hardcore PC gamers going, okay, well, now I don't have to be near my PC to play my games.
Or
I don't have to sit in front. It's all a mental thing, because I work at a computer all day. I oftentimes don't want to sit down in front of a computer to play games because it doesn't feel like, I'm playing a game, but it doesn't feel like I'm playing a game. I'm not relaxed. I'm still in the same position I've been all day.
Well, and I think it could capture a lot of the thing that I think. There's one thing that I think the Wii U is very successful at, and I think that's the one thing they have in marketing is that you can play Wii U games on that gamepad without the TV being on the Wii U.
Exactly.
And it's perfect for parents. It's perfect for anybody that, has, if you think about a parent and you have, yourself and your significant other and your husband or your wife, and you got a bunch of kids, you getting time to take the entire TV for your games is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you can sit there and they're watching movies or they're watching Yo Gabba Gabba for the 400th time in a row, you can sit there and you can play Call of Duty on your Wii U. And I feel like this Project Shield would be something that could be really great for that. You could say, hey, they're watching stuff and you want to hang out with your family, but you don't want to take up the computer, you don't want to have a laptop sitting there, you just want to play Skyrim with a controller and a tiny little screen here in your lap.
Yeah.
Great, buy the Project Shield. And you can do that. And I feel like that's one thing that they're not... They need to... Video games need to start marketing this sector because I feel like that as us as gamers are getting older and having families, then I think this is going to be a bigger and bigger issue where it might make that a selling point for people.
But that's also a hard sell for guys our age in our 30s where we look at, this isn't form of media for us. Like, we can't sit down and watch shows on a smartphone.
Right.
Or even a tablet, really. Like, we like to sit in front of our couch, in front of our TV, our whatever size TV it is.
Yeah.
Preferably larger than what we grew up with. But that's where I feel my home and my gaming and my stuff is going to be, my entertainment is going to be consumed through that, not through these smaller portable devices.
Right.
Well, see, I commute every day almost every day to work. I take the train, and I take in a lot of media through my smartphone because of that.
Yeah.
I'm on the train for probably a total of almost 2 hours a day. So, I can plow through a couple episodes of like The Daily Show, Oddity, if I want to, watch that.
Yeah,
Make it halfway through a movie.
yeah.
So as nice as it is to sit down in front of a television and really have that big screen, I think having the option to have the same experience across multiple screens is going to become a bigger and bigger selling point. And I think like Nvidia with this, and especially Nintendo and Sony right now, with the Wii U's gamepad, and Sony with the Vita, and I really, once again, I wish they'd advertise that more, the cross buy or cross play or
Yeah.
whatever it is. That's going to become a huge selling point, not even just for people that travel, but for people that want to utilize these systems within their own homes and not interrupt the rest of the entertainment that's happening around them.
Right. Like take for example, for me, I get a lot of Vita game time when I'm laying in bed, and my girlfriend likes to go to sleep earlier than I do, and I'll lay in bed and I'll read a book, while she's going to sleep or sleeping. But I would like to have an experience like that. If I can play Sleeping Dogs while I'm laying there in bed, yeah, I will totally do that. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's going to be the challenge of marketing for video games and for console makers, especially in this next gen of how do you market to these 4 or 5 different types of markets that are all playing it? Because it's still going to be your 18 to 27 market is still going to be huge. It's always going to be.
Yeah.
But then how do you meet the needs of 30-somethings like us that either have a family or don't, or are starting a family or whatever, or how are you, the commuters or anything like that? How do you start marketing all of this stuff to try and meet their needs with a console that probably already does meet your needs? And Hannah, I think you bring up a great point about this cross-buy stuff, which is great, and they're just not marketing it.
Well, yeah,
Well, I
same
think-
thing with the ultraviolet purchases on Blu-rays and DVDs. Like I redeemed, oh god, had been like 80 different things, and now I like on my Flickster account. Like it amazes me that I can go here and click on this movie, I can watch it, and I have a whole list of them with every Blu-ray that I buy now,
Yep.
and I can watch it on any device, even though Vudu sucks.
Yeah.
It is the worst
Yeah.
app ever.
Yeah.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But I think the logical endpoint for all of this that's happening with, you have multiple screen sizes, you have multiple devices. I think what you're going to see in 10, 15 years is you're not going to have a home console. It's not going to be a thing anymore.
Right.
It's going to be a home server that acts as a console and media center. And this is what the console makers have been pushing towards since the release of the 360 and the PS3.
Yeah.
They want to be the center of your living room.
Yep.
Well, it's not just going to be your living room anymore. It's
Right.
going to be your entire house. It's
Yeah.
going to be, you're going to stream it over Wi-Fi or over your cellular connection while you're on the go. And
Yeah.
this is going to act as the central hub and brain of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which, go. I want the future now.
Well,
Let's
I
do
mean, look at Windows 8. There's a lot of Xbox Live branding within Windows 8, and it's not even
Yeah.
games for Windows anymore. It's just
It's
Xbox
Xbox.
Yeah.
Live. So I think we're already seeing a lot of that where they're trying to say, well, you want to play Microsoft stuff, just buy the Microsoft box, and it's running Windows 9, and it's playing Xbox games, and it's
Yep.
you can watch Netflix or whatever. It's all of those things in one, and I feel like you're right. We're probably getting close to that.
Yeah.
So, but moving on to the next news story here, XCOM Enemy Unknown. Its next DLC is live and free. It's called Second Wave. I had somehow missed this news story, but apparently some modders had found a whole bunch of extra content in the game. I'm assuming on the PC version.
Yeah.
And what they found is this DLC, and thankfully Firaxis said, well, we'll just release it for free because you guys already found it anyway, so enjoy.
You guys.
Oh, you guys.
Oh.
You always finding our stuff.
Oh.
Well, it was also part of a patch, so I think free was probably in the plan the whole time.
Probably, yeah. So basically there's 16 options in total, 4 of which are unlocked by completing the hardest difficulty, impossible. And basically it's a bunch of, which is just mean.
Yeah, well, to be fair, the ones that you unlock for impossible all are kind of detrimental to game. Like it just makes the game harder. So you don't
Yeah.
necessarily want those unless you're a masochist.
Yeah.
So
And if you are, you probably beat Impossible.
yeah, on Iron Man
Yeah. Oh,
with one
God.
guy.
Rough. Yeah, so it's basically all modifiers on the game. I picked out three that I thought were really interesting. One is damage roulette, and basically weapons have a wider range of damage. Absolutely critical. A flanking shot guarantees a critical hit.
Oh, I'm turning that on next game.
Yeah, and my favorite one that I think I would kind of enjoy, marathon. The game takes considerably longer to complete.
Yes.
That would be kind of fun. So it's all of these 16 options. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are random, where it's like every time you get something from the council, all of your rewards are random.
Yeah, and some of them are downright evil. I mean, I think there's one that just kind of just makes the game harder by making the aliens just more aggressive.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and there's one where like you can't train psiotics unless you what is it, interrogate a live alien? I think it
yeah,
was.
and so you have to actually capture and get close enough to capture a psionic alien, which is
Yeah.
just a suicide mission for whoever's got to do that.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat that they're saying, yeah, we made a really good and a really hard game. Oh, you guys wanted it harder? Or maybe you didn't? Well, you still can.
Yeah.
So, good on them. Yay for access.
Mhm.
Now make Sim Golf 2, please. And our last news story here of the week: PS3 web store to launch later this month. It's already launched in Europe, but we're going to be getting it. Unfortunately, you can't automatically download stuff to your PS3 yet. It'll be coming later, but you can purchase things through the web interface, and I'm assuming they'll show up on your download list on your PS3 or your Vita, and then you can just pick them up next time you're on your device. But better late than never.
I
guess.
guess.
This is the one.
This is like you need this. Why don't you have this until 2013, Sony?
This is
Seriously?
This is the one thing that I always get frustrated about whenever I see, like, there was that sale on Journey the other day, and it was like, no, it was Tokyo Jungle, and it was like half off, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go buy that. I gotta hit the web store that I okay.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I guess I'll just have to
Yeah.
put I have to put a reminder on my calendar on my iPhone for 7 o'clock when I get home to then go ahead and go do that. So
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that we're getting it, but
yeah.
it's a little, almost too little too late at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be nice that whenever they announce the PS4, they'll have it. I would
It'll already be-
sincerely hope.
Maybe.
The framework will already be there.
Yeah, I would sincerely hope they would say, "Oh, and that also works too."
It just changed
Yeah,
the
I
logo
would
from
hope
PS3
so.
PS4.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cross it out, road foe.
Or just keep the branding PSN and just transfer the whole thing from system to system. I mean, I don't
I
see
think
why
that's where
not.
they're gonna have to. That's the way that Xbox Live's gonna be. It's not like Xbox 360 Live.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
exactly.
you have to separate those out. I mean, that's why you have separate branding for the online service and the actual console.
Right. But that's all of our news stories. So let's take another break.
Break. All right. Cool. I can
Bonk.
pee.
Okay.
Well, that NVIDIA Shield thing has just has basically made my decision for my next graphics card. So
There you go.
nice that that's out of my hands.
Yeah. I've always liked Nvidia's cards.
I have an NVIDIA card right now, and the fact that it has, I can still play modern games on a 5-year-old card.
Yeah.
They make a good chipset. You can't
They
argue
do.
it. I'm still rocking a 9600 GT.
Yeah, and I have an ATI card right now,
Mhm.
and it's okay.
Yeah.
My real main driver is whether or not XFX sells something, because that's my
Okay.
video card manufacturer of choice, especially now that they have double warranty. So if
Ooh.
you register your card and get the warranty for it, the person you give it to next or sell it to next also has lifetime warranty.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, Project Shield, I hope that's not the final name, because it's real dumb.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it almost makes it sound like an Avengers tie-in.
Yeah, and if... Okay, so if it's pure Android and it's at least ICS, I can see myself wanting this device, because you
Yeah.
have this wide range of stuff that you can do on this thing, and it just... it looks so cool.
Yeah.
I really just want to be able to beam video games from my computer to a handheld. Like sometimes I don't want to get out of bed to play video games. I'm a lazy man.
Yeah.
You know,
That's when I get a
sometimes-
lot of my Vita playing, where it's like, oh, it's just sitting on my night table right next to me. Yeah, I'll play some Vita here in the morning. I don't feel like reading yet.
You know, that leaves me with a couple options. I can play some games on my Android phone, which okay, there's a few good games. You know,
It's still a
Gyro's got
smartphone,
hooks in
though.
it now. It's still a smartphone, or I could play my original PSP, which currently at this point has a battery life of about a half an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a cool boy.
And you know, as much as I love my PSP and as much as I've done with my PSP, because I run custom firmware and I've taken all of my original PS1 games and ripped them and converted them and all that, so I can play all those games.
Yeah.
But like Metal Gear Solid has a lot of audio issues. No matter what you do, even if you download that game, it has audio issues.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really need something in that vein to kind of fill that gap.
Right.
So, Project Shield, I think, could be that, depending on price point. If it's like $700, it's basically just a glorified tech demo.
I think if that thing's anything more than $200, it's shooting itself in the foot.
That's what I was gonna say. If it's $200, if you can get that for the same price that you can get a smartphone for, I think for a lot of people that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, the killer for me is going to be, I don't think it's going to have a lot of the smartphone hardware. You're not going to have a GSM or a
no.
HSPA radio. You're not going to have those data connections. You're going to have Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And you're going to have Bluetooth. And that's probably going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not even Bluetooth. They might just say Wi-Fi and an HDMI cable and a power cable. That's it.
Bluetooth costs like 3 cents, though. So.
Yeah, that's true. God,
Lollipop Chainsaw 7 hours.
Okay. That's a good
bad.
time.
That's what I logged in on it.
Yeah, especially if it wants to play it multiple times. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I guess there's other characters, the other outfits. I mean,
nice. I really like that game up.
I can't really describe how much fun. Like things just made me laugh. Like
yeah.
Like man, there's just like some of the tunes are really good, and some of the boss enemies are just so like punk rock, just ridiculousness. Like you fight like a punk rock dude as a first boss, and then you get like this giant Viking guy, and then you fight the fucking the harp hippie, and then you got the funk dude, and then you got the heavy metal like looks like Sid Vicious.
Nice. So for anybody that's watching the live stream right now. I just placed my order for Lollipop Chainsaw because Amazon is selling it for $20, brand new. So go
if I didn't
buy
have
it.
a short paycheck this month.
And I think it's also games on demand available now, but I think it's $40.
I got people I can borrow it from.
There you go. All right, you guys ready to do the last segment here? So
Yeah.
Go back to playing Sleeping Dogs.
So I can go eat.
All right, starting in
Movies.
3, 2, 1. Let's talk about tweets.
Tweets, man.
First two come from Chilled to the Bone. He says, PSA, PC version of Walking Dead is plagued with save bugs. That is true, which unfortunately they have not fixed. And I don't
Same thing
not
with
encounter
360.
any.
Well, 360 doesn't have save bugs. It just has a confusing loading scheme.
Yes.
The PC version has the option of corrupting your save. Which
Oh,
is
really?
bad.
I didn't see that there.
He says, play at your own risk. By all accounts, PS3 version is the one to play. Yeah, that's actually pretty true, which you don't hear that often, but that's pretty nice. He also says, and I don't even know what we were talking about last episode that he's referring to, but he says, Xbox was going to be successful no matter what because Microsoft has Windows dollars they can pour into it till it was good. To a degree, I would also like to let everyone know Microsoft doesn't make money on Windows. Their two profitable branches are the 360 and Windows Server. Everything else loses money.
So they make so much money on Windows Server, though.
Yeah, tell me.
Those licensing fees are outrageous.
As an IT guy, tell me about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was one of the good things that Microsoft had going for them when they were going in is they had money to outlast the problems, which was the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So
As much as I love that system, yeah.
and they
Yeah.
just kept pumping money into it until they got it right, and second time was a charm for them. So.
Hmm.
Next one from Chris Collins says, "Please do a Walking Dead spoiler cast. We're working on it, so
Yes.
we're trying to get our schedules down.
Yeah.
But we pretty much need to do that, and to be
Just so we can get it off our chest.
well, and to be
It's
entirely
gonna be more of
honest,
a therapy group.
we need to get better about doing spoiler casts in general because you guys really like them, and it's hard for us to do them, but we need to try. So we will try." Maximus Prime writes, "Boston saying that he hates AC3 and loves Alpha Protocol further exemplifies how different our gaming opinions are." Winky face. He says, "Oh, and I couldn't stand XCOM, so my opinion to many is void LMAO." Yeah, I mean, you're not going to agree with everything we say in the show, but you know what? The difference to me between AC3 and Alpha Protocol is Alpha Protocol never lied to you. It was a broken game, but it was never broken enough that it either lied to you or that it was totally unplayable. I know a lot of people had some experiences with the original version of Alpha Protocol where it was just had a bunch of quirks and a bunch of tiny bugs.
I think it's okay to call it jank.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it is. I mean it's just it's just a rough game, but I don't feel like at any point was it ever broken.
I think the other thing is you didn't have any expectations going to Alpha Protocol because it was an unknown quantity.
That's true.
But you're walking into Assassin's Creed 3, you've got a bar set for you, and those bars are Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. Those are that's some rough bars
Those
to
are
me.
very high bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have to say, talking about jank too, the thing I forgot to mention about Sleeping Dogs is I've not once experienced any open world jank, which is really weird. Like I've never turned a corner and cars are plummeting into the earth. You know, there was only one thing I had where there were a couple of like gang members fighting, and one dude punched another dude, and he sort of flew maybe like a city block, but that's about it. You know, nothing crazy.
There's something to be said about open world jank. Like I can't describe how much fun Moonpier and I had playing Crackdown 2 together and just breaking the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just the best. I mean, launching buses over Agency Tower.
Yeah. Good times. All right, let's move on to emails here. Maximus Prime writes in and says, "I haven't listened to episode 272, so if you answer this question, please disregard. So rumors are flying all over the internet that Microsoft is going to call the new Xbox simply Xbox. Do you guys think this is a great use of branding or an easy way out of coming up with something clever to name the next Microsoft console?" I haven't heard this rumor at all, but I think it's the dumbest thing I've heard in a while.
What, calling it Xbox again?
Yeah. We already had an Xbox.
And
Well,
everyone
that-
calls the 360 Xbox.
60 and Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the Sega thing when we were growing up in the Genesis. You know, our parents saying, "What are you playing that Sega for? What are you playing those
Yeah.
Nintendos?"
I always correct him. It's like, it's a Genesis.
Yeah, get it right.
Or like when people say, well, the first Sega, I was like, what are you talking about, the Master System?
Yeah.
And they're like, what is that?
You're
Yeah,
like,
no one knows what the Master System is in the U.S., man.
yeah, it's weird. But I think if you start talking about calling, I understand what their problem is, and I understand they have to say, from a raw marketing standpoint, that the PS4 and the next Xbox, whatever it's called, are on the same level. That's why it's called the Xbox 360. But calling it Xbox or calling it the Xbox is really not going to do it, because I think if Microsoft needs to learn from anybody, they need to learn from Nintendo's problem right now. And we made a lot of jokes before the Wii U came out about, oh, do I just buy the gamepad and plug it in my original Wii? But that happens a lot.
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
the most frequently asked question. And somebody was joking, and I thought it was... I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was a good point. They should have just called it the Super Wii, because it
Yep.
worked for the Super
Yeah.
Nintendo.
You know what?
Super
I
is
mean-
a great prefix for it.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it's going to have to do, like, the last thing you want to do is market confusion.
Yeah.
Because, like we talked about with the Wii and the Wii U, most of the people that are purchasing things are going to be parents.
Yeah.
And parents that are not going to know anything about which console they're buying.
They're going to want to say, I want that new Xbox, or I want the Xbox. And
Right.
that's what they come in and go to Best Buy or Target right now and say, "Can you just get me one of those Xboxes?" And if we have another console from Microsoft that's just called Xbox, that all goes wrong.
Well, and if they're gonna do, I really hope they learn their lessons from this generation. Is not have multiple SKUs,
Yeah,
like different levels of entry.
yeah. I'm
As
sure
much as oh, go ahead.
they. What's unfortunate is they have to now from another marketing standpoint. Like, if you look at the Wii, nobody should be buying the white Wii ever at all for any reason ever. But Nintendo can say, we have a $250 console or we have a $200 console. Then they can say, we start at $200 or, further features are more expensive. Nobody's going to buy it. But, just like the 4 gig arcade Xbox right now, nobody's going to be buying that thing. But they can say, we have a $200 console.
Yeah.
Fairly shortly, I'm sure they're going to say, we have a $150 console. Like, Xbox is only $150 now, but the one you really want to buy is $300. And that's all still marketing at that point. And it's a bummer.
Yeah,
But
I understand,
and that was
but
the same
it's
point I was going to make.
it's just I don't know.
It
Just
confusing.
seems like unneeded confusion.
Well, because if you look at a lot of people coming to us, people know we play games. So a lot of people come to us and say, "Oh, I want to buy my kid one of those Xboxes. Which one should I buy?" And then you have to go, "Well, all right. Is he going to be downloading a lot of games? Are you going to be watching a lot of movies? Are you going to be doing this?" And then the next thing you know, they're expecting to spend $150, and they're coming out of it with a $350 Connect bundle.
That's the thing I ran into with Donnie when I took him to get his 360. He's like, "Well, here's this one. It's like $100 cheaper." I was like, "Yeah, but you're gonna want to install and download these packs because I know you're gonna want to play with us."
Yep.
And having 4 gigs of space, you're gonna use that on 2 of the Left 4 Dead content.
Yeah, on just Left 4 Dead DLC.
Well, and sometimes
like,
it
no,
won't even let you do that.
Yeah,
That's true.
like you won't have the space available.
I mean, I feel like with the hard drive success of the PS3 and the hard drive failures of the 360, I feel like this probably isn't going to be a problem in the next console. But I don't think we're ever going to get away from having at least 2 SKUs, which is a bummer. But
As long as it's 2 and not what did PlayStation want, like 4?
It was 3 initially, I believe. It
Yeah,
was
but then
20,
again,
40,
then-
and 60.
And then the Slim came out, and it was a whole nother set of SKUs. I'm like,
Unfortunately, they still have a bunch of SKUs, but thankfully now they're mostly bundles. So it's basically like, you have like the 600 gig PS3. You want a PS3? Here, take it. But then we have a couple bundles, the Uncharted bundle, the God of War bundle, this sort of thing, where you're getting another controller and you're getting a game and you're getting some points or whatever. That I feel like that's a much better. Microsoft has tried that with their holiday bundles. It's like, it's a holiday bundle. You get Fable 3 and some other terrible game in this bundle, and you get an okay 360 but no Kinect.
nothing's gonna top what they did with the original Xbox bundle with.
Sega GT.
What was it? Sega
2002.
GT and Jet Set Radio Future with 2
Yeah.
S controllers.
Yep,
Yeah, that was huge.
that's all you needed.
You can walk into any game store that still sells used Xbox games. There's going to be like 40 copies of Jet Set Radio Future and Sega GT.
Both of them are so good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I would sincerely hope that both console manufacturers would be announcing their consoles at this E3, because if not, that seems a little weird. So
And then we're starting to get suspicious.
yeah, I guess we'll see in June. Is what
Yep.
E3 is, I think. Okay, next email here from Jeff. Has a long email here. Hi, I was the one that tweeted, it says he's Wub Dubstep, asking about Castlevania last week, and thanks for the recommendation. I definitely got my money's worth on Symphony of the Night, and I can say this game holds up really well, and as a first time Castlevania player, I think I found a series I can really sink my teeth into. Yeah, you
Nice.
can. And
Nice.
pretty much every Castlevania, I think you'll probably like most of the Metroidvanias then.
Yes.
Yeah.
and-
Arya Sorrow, Dawn of Sorrow. I think it's the GBA one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them are fantastic, especially all the ones, even with the difficulty of Order of Ecclesia, is really good still.
All
Oh,
three
that was
ones
so hard,
on
though.
all 3 ones on DS are really good. I actually really like Circle of the Moon on GBA, that very first really dark one. It's not it's not the best Castlevania game, but it's really simple. It's really straightforward. It doesn't have a lot of BS in it, and it's just kind of a solid Castlevania game.
Yeah.
He says, my question is about pivotal games in your lives. When I was a kid, I actually did buy Symphony of the Night, but I kid you not, when I got home and put it in my PS1, it was Elmo's Number Journey.
Ooh.
It said Symphony of the Night on the CD and case, but the actual game was Elmo for whatever reason.
That's real weird.
Yeah, I've never had that happen before, but like, I could only imagine how much that game would be worth now as a misprint.
Wow.
Yeah, a massive
Misprints for video
misprint like
games
that.
never happen. Almost
Yeah.
never, except for Strider for the PS1, where
Yeah.
they flipped the discs. We ended up going back and returning it, but there wasn't another copy of Symphony of the Night, so I just got Resident Evil, and that has been a major influence in my life, and I'm still obsessed with Zombies this game to this day. You know, you can't go wrong with the original Resident Evil. That game was great. Scared the poops out of me.
Oh, the dogs.
Yeah, that first scene with the dogs, man. Just, oh, man. And one of the first few games I remember that had different footsteps sounds for, you know, in that first great hall you're walking through, when you're walking on, like, the marble or the wood and the, like, the red carpet that they had there. They had different sound effects, and we were just like, oh, what? They can do that?
Yeah.
He continues, after playing Symphony of the Night, I realized that what would have happened if it were the other way around? What if Symphony of the Night actually worked? Would I be obsessed with Metroidvania games? Would I have ever played Resident Evil ever? Would I be revisiting Resident Evil today? Strange how one game has affected my life in such a way that I'm a huge Walking Dead fan and never grow tired of zombie games ever. My question is, what game changed your life and shaped the way you play games today, or even changed your interests? Have you ever ended up choosing between two games of 4 as a kid? And what do you think would happen if you picked the other game?
Ooh.
Hannah, why don't you go and start if you can think of one?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a game specifically, but I think it was my console choice in the 2000s, going with Xbox over PS2.
Yeah.
I had a lot of my friends were really big on the Dreamcast when it came out, and they weren't terribly fond of Sony because of their success over the Dreamcast. So when push came to shove, everyone I knew went out and got an Xbox because they were like, "Well, it's not Sony. Hey, it's better than Sony."
Wow.
So I grew up.
How eerily similar does this sound, Boston?
It's pretty much on spot. It was pretty much, that other guy isn't Sony? I'll take it. Whatever it is.
Yeah. So yeah, if there was one game that shaped the way I play games, it's really the original Halo, because we and my big group of friends would just sit in someone's garage with 4 27-inch CRTs, or we would play 16-player LANs. And I was accustomed to the LAN sort of setup because I had a friend whose father was big on he was a network engineer. At a time when network engineer was not like a common title.
Right.
So he had 5 or 6 computers just hooked up in his house, and they all had Doom on them, and we'd all, me, my friend, and his brothers would sit down and we'd play Doom Deathmatch, and we'd play Duke Nukem Deathmatch, and we'd play all that stuff.
Yeah, we played a ton of that.
So, having access to a bunch of people that had Xbox and a bunch of people that loved Halo allowed me to kind of introduce my love of the LAN party to other people and be like, hey guys, let's do this. And it really wasn't me that introduced it per se, but it was something I knew, I knew the customary, how to do it. It's like, hey, don't screen look, that's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, all the etiquette.
Exactly. So, and that was really, I think it was more a console than a game. But had I gone PS2, would have been a completely different. I'd probably still be really into JRPGs.
Yeah.
It would have been a real different story.
Yeah. What about you, Knobs?
I would have to say that since you brought up a great point about your choice of console, I remember we had an old Atari 2600 here in the house. I think it was my dad's. And he was like, "Well, let's go to Best Electronics when that thing still existed."
Yeah.
We went over there and they had 2 rear projection TVs set up, like back in that day, like I don't know, like 48 inches or something. Like,
yeah,
it just seemed mammoth at the time.
Yeah.
And they had Super Mario Brothers playing on one, and then they had the Master System playing Space Harrier on the other one. At that point, I didn't care anything about Mario. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah, you saw Space Harrier and you're like, that's the future.
Space Harrier blew my mind. I'm
Yep.
like, all right,
Nice.
that's the console I went through.
Yep.
And was the only kid in my neighborhood that had a Master System.
Yeah.
You're probably the only kid in like 20 miles that had a Master
Actually, no, there
System.
was one other kid like in the development area, but he wasn't much of a gamer. So it was just one of the like dudes like, oh yeah, dude, you got the light phaser too. It's like, yeah, dude, thing's awesome.
Yeah. Master
But yeah, I
System.
mean that came with Hang On and Safari Hunt,
Yeah.
which two really hard games, and then Space Harrier. That's where my first time I played Wonder Boy, and I still haven't beat that game. That game still is hard as hell.
Yeah.
To this day, I have never beaten a Master System game,
Yeah.
and I
it's-
have gone back as an adult and played them, and they are hard.
Yeah.
And then that led into my Genesis thing, where like I didn't care about Super NES because I had the Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
same here.
but it just, I would say that's probably the most pivotal moment, and it followed Sega all the way up to their end out of the whatchamacallit, out of the console race. I even own a Nomad and a CDX. That's how hardcore Sega is.
Yeah.
I bleed blue for Sega.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think for me, my biggest one is probably picking up the first Final Fantasy and sort of playing that and going, like, I had played video games. My dad was a gamer. You know, so he got into PCs pretty early and bought an Atari 2600, I think pretty much for himself, but you know, masqueraded as, well, the kids are going to want to play it, right? And I was like, two.
Yeah, that's what my dad did.
Yeah, and I had played games before that, and, you know, I had played some stuff on the PC, but I think when I first picked up Final Fantasy, you know, I had enjoyed other games, but I think when I picked that up, I was just sort of like, oh, you know, you had the turning point of like, oh, this is what games are. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like the first real game you kind of sink your teeth into, and you're like, okay, I think this is what I want to do. I like this. I like everything about this. And I think that sort of started my love of games and my love of JRPGs in general. So I think that would have to be that, and after that it's pretty much a downward spiral of video game collecting.
Yeah, I mean, I think game wise for me, I think Shinobi is my end all character. Like that's the first character I was like, I love this action game genre.
All of this crazy ninja.
Yeah, I mean, like I like from him as Black Suit and the arcade. I used to play Shinobi in the arcades.
Yeah.
And then when it had the home version on the Master System, which looked terrible,
Yeah.
but it was still serviceable as that character. And then when he came with Revenge of Shinobi as one of the really, really early launch titles for the Genesis, like that,
Right.
and just seeing the difference between Altered Beast from the Master System to the Genesis was just,
Oh,
oh man! At that point, I was just hooked.
Those were some of
Yeah.
my favorite comparisons, and that's what I liked about those early consoles. Like, you would look at one game, you would look at the images from the arcade, and then you could compare it to, like, we would open up Game Fan, and it would be the image from the arcade, and then there'd be the image of the Master System, and then the image of the Genesis. And the arcade and the Genesis were almost exact, and the Master System looked like crap. As soon as the Genesis came out, I'm like, oh my, I have to get a Genesis. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like, nothing could stop me from getting a Genesis at that point.
Yeah, it was just one of those amazing things that you actually have representation of what you looked at. I mean,
Yeah.
there were still games that felt way short of that, but other ones just kind of almost captured it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. All right, let's move on here to the next email. King Pipboy writes in, which is probably my new favorite username. Hello, fellow game aficionados. With talk of the next generation of consoles doing away with physical media, it got me thinking about the following two questions. Number one, without physical media, do you think a company like Microsoft would ever be money hungry enough to devise a way to require paying each time a game is played? Example, I just bought Borderlands 3 for my new discless next-gen Xbox, and now I have to pay 80 Microsoft points per half hour to play.
Ooh.
I would say after what happened with the karaoke channel, no.
No, I don't think any company is dumb enough to try and insert an arcade-style model, like payment model, into a console that you have in your home. That is suicide.
And I think I feel like this probably would have been a conversation that we probably could have entertained before the karaoke channel, which just crapped all over itself.
Yeah.
And before Game Room, which also crapped all over itself because
yeah,
it was
I forgot
really
that was
hard.
a thing.
It was really hard for people to say, "Oh, I want to play this arcade game. Oh, it's 80 points. That's fun. Oh, wait, I only got like 2 credits. Wait, I have to pay again. Why?
Yeah.
I just spent like $1. This game is like 30 years old. Why don't? Oh, I'm never gonna come back in here again."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think the whole industry has turned from a game of quarters to a game of ownership.
$60.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're pretty much buying that whole thing. You have all the parts. Why at this the problem is you're not renting that play time like you
Right.
were with an arcade machine. You're
Yeah.
literally playing. You're renting your time in that game to play it.
Yeah.
If you bought the game, that monetary system's moot. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I feel like with it probably becomes that $60 probably stretches a lot further when you're talking about a console that has like day one direct downloads to the console, because at that point you're not printing a disc, you're not printing a manual, which they have to hate printing manuals at this point because it's just a waste of money for most games.
Yeah.
So I feel
Those
like at
2
that
pages and 4 staples, you know?
yeah, exactly, like it's nobody wins in this one.
Well, 2
So-
pages. I mean, you're lucky if that's even that
pamphlet.
anymore. It's a piece of paper folded in half
Yes,
now,
some intern photocopied something.
and it's all legal stuff. Nothing pertinent in it
Right.
anymore.
So I feel like at that point, I feel like the $60. I don't think they'll go to $70 for the next gen, because I feel like
God, I
for
hope
a
not.
lot of people, especially families, like we were talking about earlier, $60 is a lot to chew. You know, like look at how many games we've played in the last, I don't know how long. There's $60 games that are 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yay! You know, like
It's not okay anymore.
Yeah, and at $70, you know, that's not gonna cut it anymore. So, you know, I don't feel like Nintendo or Microsoft is that money grubbing. I don't feel like any of the 3 console makers are that money grubbing to do
No.
that. I think that would just be shooting themselves in the foot.
Yes.
At that point, I don't think they're that dumb. And question number 2: if the next generation of games are large enough and detailed enough that they would otherwise require a Blu-ray disc, do you think there would be an issue for most people in having to download multiple tiers of gigabytes worth of data for each game on a diskless system?
I think you'd run into a huge problem. You have to remember, especially in where we're at, the United States. I can't speak for Europe or any of the Asian countries, but our broadband availability is incredibly low. It's still, I think, still below 50%.
And for a lot of us in the U.S., thankfully, unlike a lot of other countries, we don't have caps. So we don't have like a 2 gig a day cap. We don't have a 20 gig a month cap, which
like
if you're talking about a
does.
Blu-ray game, you can download 1 game a month and your bandwidth is out for the month.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the next consoles will still have discs. I think they'll try and downplay them, but for a lot of people, and there's still a lot of people that don't have their 360s or their PS3s online at all.
That's just an insane thought to me, but yeah.
Which is an insane thought, and they're probably rocking the very first dashboard,
Rocking
going like,
blades still.
yeah, they're rocking blades, and they're like, man, I love playing Gears of War 3. This is awesome. But you know,
man.
which I think is impossible. I think they have dashboard updates on the disc, but you know, for a lot of people, online gaming is not important to them, so their console just isn't going to be plugged in. It's plugged into their TV, and they're good, and they're just playing some games. So I feel like with you know, I think the Hannah's right with low bandwidth here in the States and high bandwidth but very low caps in a lot of other countries. I don't think that can be a thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, agreed.
yeah, one day when
Maybe.
we're in space,
Yeah.
when we're on MarsNet.
I can't
alright.
wait for MarsNet.
Oh man, MarsNet's gonna be awesome. Marsflix.
Yeah, I can't wait for MarsNet. A Quado server going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our next email here from Chino. Howdy, everybody. Boston Knobs and the very cool 3rd edition, the Hannah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very behind the times right now and haven't played Mass Effect 3 yet. Don't feel badly. I'm just starting to play Sleeping Dogs right now. I've carefully avoided all the end spoilers thus far, and I don't know what the whole big deal is about its conclusion.
Ooh,
You will.
Bravo. Oh, well done on
Yeah,
that, avoiding all that.
I don't know how you did that, but I'm impressed. That being said, can I still experience this? I haven't bought a copy yet, but when I do, will all the updates be on the disc already, or will I be able to cancel the updates when I boot up the game? Should I play it offline? Is the extended director's cut ending DLC that I can opt to download? It's kind of hard to explain, but what I want is to experience both type of endings like everyone else did when the game got released.
Yeah,
That's going to be pretty hard at the moment, and I'm going to be honest with you. I appreciate that you want to experience the sort of vanilla ending, sort of away from the ending now, but I'm going to be honest with you. Just watch it on YouTube. I would get the bug fixes that patch brought in. I would get the improved ending. I would get the ability to play online because the multiplayer on that is really good.
Yeah.
And I would honestly download all the DLC. I've heard a lot of it is really good and fleshes out a lot of story, especially in Leviathan, I think, did a really good job of fleshing that stuff out. So I can appreciate that you want to experience the game for when it came out and experience sort of all the hubbub and the hullabaloo, but I almost don't think you should, truthfully.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I experienced the original endings, and I saved in such a way that I was able to experience all the endings at in a very short period of time. I just had to kind of replay certain points, and yeah, you just do the extended endings. They're not all that different anyway.
Right.
Like the differences are very minor and expository. So
Yeah, it's not a whole
much.
different ending.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit.
It's
really
elaborative.
it really is just an extended cut. I mean, they just extended a couple of the scenes to make a little bit more sense, and that's about it. So, I wouldn't even.
It was enough of ending that I don't want to go back to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
exactly. I would say don't even bother with it, and just kind of fire up the game and just
Enjoy the game.
yeah,
It's a
Just
great
play it.
game.
yeah, enjoy it, and I'm glad that he's kept away from a lot of the hubbub about the ending, so that he can just experience it himself.
Yeah.
You know. So, next email here. Want to thank Temple J for subscribing to the show. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And for anybody that would like to subscribe, please do so, because it makes it a lot easier for me to budget things like advertising, which is running me dry. Next email here is from Dave, aka RoboPig. Hi guys, was happy to hear that you have added Brian to the mix. Welcome to the show.
Yep, definitely.
I hit level 50 with my main Borderlands 2 character, but still keep getting back in it, playing the DLC, and finding better loot. New DLC comes out this week, so I feel you.
Oh god, that comes out. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
like Tuesday,
I have to
I think.
really get back in that game. I haven't even beat Scarlet yet.
Now you got
Yeah.
like 3 DLC packs to go through.
Yeah.
Oh, good
All right. Well, hey.
Hey, at
What
least
better
season
time
1 will
than
be
now?
over. I was wondering what your thoughts were on the level cap, and do you think Gearbox will increase it? I see a lot of pleas for it on Twitter, but haven't heard anything from Gearbox in response. Thanks, RoboPig. They did actually respond to somebody had asked them in an interview, because they were saying, hey, it's the 4th one, you guys are increasing the level cap, right? And they're like, no. we're not."
I feel like that's a bit of a backpedal. I could have sworn I read something saying that they were going to raise the level cap.
But not in
I'd have
this,
to dig it up, though.
Not in this DLC, though.
Oh, okay.
So they said they are going to, but everybody was expecting them in this last DLC to like raise it 10 more levels or something. So they're talking about releasing it as like another title update, or releasing just like free DLC where it's like, hey, more levels. They're also talking about an idea that I think would be really, really great, which is doing a second season of DLC, which is something that I can't think of any game having done at this point, but if they were to say like, hey, $30 for another season pass and 4 more DLC packs, I will spend that $30.
Yeah, I would definitely consider it.
Yeah, so I feel like they still have a lot of life left in Borderlands 2. I mean, we are still playing this game, and them getting really aggressive with this DLC probably helped the game a lot.
Yeah.
I think they have the framework to milk this game for a while.
Without making it feel like they're milking it.
Well,
know?
yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can always add con to it. I think they left themselves open. I think they said in development that they can add characters in the back end of that game.
Yep, like
and
Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you want to add more characters? You want to add more DLC? I will pay for it.
Same here.
Gladly.
Have more stuff. Now just increase the bank size. That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, increase the bank size and increase the level, and I won't have any complaints.
I have 3 banks full
Yeah,
Wow.
of Orange 50 weapons.
it's bad. All right, next email here. Hey, guys, this is from Mind Hamster. Can you suggest some lesser heard of games for Android? I just got my first Android device running Jelly Bean, and any advice would be greatly appreciated. So I don't know. I think there's an supplement what these two gentlemen are just about to talk about. I think there's an Android gaming thread on the forums, if I remember
I
correctly.
think it's a general Android thread more than anything. But yeah, it is there. There's a couple games in there, and I talked about it earlier in the show, but Gyro's awesome. Go ahead and check that out. I don't know. What do you have in the Android land, Knobs?
After I got sucked into Game Dev Story, I'm scared to put a game on my Android phone.
You gotta buy Game Dev Story. It's
Yeah,
less than
that's the big-
$5, and you can play that game forever.
Well, let me.
That's the only one you need, actually.
Here. Let's see what we
We can
got.
start and finish at Game Dev Story.
Let's see. You got Cannibalt HD, which if you haven't played Cannibalt, that's just a standard dudes running to the side, jump over buildings.
The very first big runner game.
Yeah, and it was the guy who made that. He built it on his framework, which I've used to actually put together a couple of Flash game demos, and it's really solid stuff.
Was that Terry Kavanagh?
It was Adam Saltzman actually.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Oh, Knights of Pen and Paper. I know you've played this one, but this one it's just this really cool. It's an RPG in the trappings of a tabletop RPG.
Yeah, it's fun because it's basically you and your friends are sitting at a table, and you're kind of playing as the characters and as the DM at the same time. It's pretty fun, and it's now that they fixed the translation issues, it's way funnier. It kind of pokes and prods at RPGs and pen and paper games.
Yeah, and another one I can recommend is Conundrum, which is you have 4 dots of effectively light, and you have to get them to specific points on the grid that you're playing on. But when you move them, they move all the way across the area. They only move in one direction at a time. It's a really pretty intense puzzle game. I've had a lot of fun with. But
Edge.
Edge.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Edge is a really good move a block platform puzzler. I want to
Yeah.
say.
I don't know how to describe that one. It's really good though.
Sliding block puzzle, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
It's not really sliding blocks
Rolling
because
block?
you're rolling a block around, and you're just trying to collect little dots that look like the same block as yours, and try and get it to a finish point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
And actually, what you can do is go
It
to
looks
the
fantastic.
Go to the Humble Indie Bundle site. I think it's just humblebundle.com, and I think you can view listings of their old bundles. All the games they've released for the Android bundles are fantastic.
Yeah, they have really good Android bundles.
Yeah, so that's where I would start. And if you like one game, see what that developer. There's usually a section on the Play Store where you can see more games from that developer.
Yeah.
And that'll kind of chain in, and you can get some pretty interesting stuff out of it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, that's all of our emails and tweets.
Right.
If you want to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Email us at tvgpfans@gmail.com, and everything else is on the right-hand side of the newly designed TVGP website.
It's gorgeous.
All right, don't forget, join the forums. Mark yourselves on the map that's in the off-topic thread. Should be sticky at the top. First 1 or 2 pages of that thread, I think, have the actual link on it for the Z maps. And then join us for Monday Night Game Night. That's 10 p.m. EST. More gamers, the more welcome.
Yep, and don't forget to watch us live stream twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. The schedule and the link are on the right-hand side of the page, and we'll see you all next week.
Latest.
Peace.
All right, titles.
All right, I got about 4.
I didn't write anything down. I was.
Chat, feel free to jump in here, too. Go ahead with your 4, Hannah. I've got 3.
All right, so I've got my first one, Something Out of Narnia.
Yes.
Harvesting.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, Emotionally Compromised.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Yeah, and Spirit Fingers.
I have Farming Jenkins. It is just good and emotionally compromised, which I think it has to be emotionally compromised.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one.
So that was the most diplomatic way of
I
saying.
think that's gonna be my new phrase for that.
Yeah, I didn't messed up. I didn't cry. It's emotionally compromised.
Emotionally, it's very militaristic.
Yeah, it's very military.
Dude, that's totally it's Star Trek.
Yeah,
It's Spock.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 273 for January 14th, 2013. Emotionally compromised.
Held it together.
Tears were shed.
All right, thank you very much, gents, and thank you very much to everybody in the chat and watching the stream, or if you're just watching it later, thank you from the past. Hello to the future.
Woo.
Bye.